my beautiful friends, welcome back to another video. Hope you have been keeping so very well. Today is a very exciting day because I have officially been vegan for 7 whole years. I have to say, I feel like it's been a very quick 7 years. It feels like just yesterday I watched Cowspiracy for the first time and I went to this animal farm sanctuary and had like this whole moment of realizing I wanted to be vegan. But here I am and here we are, and today I thought that we could hang out. I'm going to chat to you about some things I've learned over my vegan journey, and we're also going to eat some really good food because that's what we do on this YouTube channel, and that's also what I like to do in my life, especially to celebrate things, you know? But before we get into breakfast, you and I both know there is something I need to do. Can I just say a big thank you to the person in the YouTube comments who recommended me trying this brand of milk the next time I went to the supermarket, because I got this one that's a soy, almond, hazelnut and oat like blend combo, and it's so delicious, super creamy, super tasty, and definitely something I recommend. If you're here in Australia, definitely try this milk. I love it. It's my new favorite. So I really want to focus on making and eating delicious food today. Obviously I like to do that every day and in most of my YouTube videos, but today I was like, I really want to dig up some old favorites and things that I used to eat a lot of, and also just like enjoy like really flavor-packed food, I suppose. And a breakfast that I used to love so much is a chickpea omelette. I'm pretty sure I have a recipe on my website. Right. Speaking of websites, my website is hosted and designed with Squarespace, and they have also very kindly sponsored today's video. If you are ever in the need for a website, whether that be to sell products or have a blog, I genuinely highly recommend using Squarespace. I will own the fact that I am not very good at creating a website, and it literally has been made so easy with Squarespace. I have done it for my own website as well as our podcast website, and I use it in other areas of my work as well, and it's genuinely so user-friendly. It's ridiculous in a good way. I've honestly also just found it so easy with selling my ebook. Like, making an ebook is a time-consuming thing, and the fact that you can literally just like post your product on there so easily, set up a payment system and then sell products is really incredible. It's a very seamless website to use, so I definitely recommend. If you are ever in the need of a website, you can go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and then when you're ready to launch, you can go to squarespace.com/AmandaDux, use my code AmandaDux, and that will get you 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. So yes, I have this recipe on my website. I'll link it down below if you want to try it out. I'm gonna make like, I think a couple of changes today, but a chickpea omelette is something that I was making about a year ago so much because it's like a really nice savory breakfast that isn't just like having toast for breakfast. And like, no offense to Toast, like love Toast, love her so much, but sometimes I'm just like, I just want something a little bit different and something savory, and this is where a chickpea omelette really steps in and saves the day. So I'm gonna make one today. I actually have some sun-dried tomatoes and some feta and some spinach, and I think it's gonna be a really, really delicious breakfast. I was actually talking to someone yesterday and just being like, chickpeas are simply my favorite food. Like, chickpeas in all forms, so much love. There's nothing wrong with a chickpea, and that is just a fact, you know? Anyway, let's get into making a chickpea omelette for breakfast. Alrighty, so into my blender I've put some chickpea flour, water, lemon juice, salt, and spice mix, and that is all for today. I'll show you the spice mix I have been using. I have been using this on so many things, especially because I don't have any nutritional yeast or veggie stock powder in the house right now. This is perfect. It adds so much flavor, and I have been using it on everything. Great branding, because they know they know what I'm about to do. So yes, I'm going to blend this all together, and then I'm going to get into cooking the omelette. So usually when I make my chickpea omelette, I will like cook the omelette and then I will cook the veggies separate and kind of like fold it into each other. But today I'm going to try just cooking it all, like cooking the veggies in the omelette as well. Hopefully it's going to work out because I'm filming this video and I really would like my breakfast to work out, but we shall see. There's only one way to find out, really. I currently give myself like a D- for presentation, but we'll see if I can save it in any way. Whew. Okay, let's have a moment for the chickpea omelette. I put some barbecue sauce on top because it's my favorite. And don't let how ugly this looks stop you from trying this omelette, okay? Well, I know that omelettes in the past have been delicious and I have a really good feeling about this one as well. You know what? That was just a really easy breakfast to make. Like, got my veggies, got my chickpeas. It's a hearty, savory breakfast. Definitely try this if you haven't already. I feel like I'm about to enter another chickpea omelette phase of my life, which I'm definitely not complaining about. So originally when I realized that my vegan anniversary was quickly approaching, I was like, what am I gonna do to celebrate? And then I had this idea of like, I'm gonna make myself a birthday cake and it's gonna be like with sprinkles, like your classic vanilla birthday cake with sprinkles and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, then it got to today and I was like, I just don't really feel like baking an entire cake today, if I'm honest. So I think instead of baking a cake, I'm gonna do the next best thing. So there is a vegan bakery here on the Gold Coast called Flower of Life, and I decided to take a drive here today to get myself a couple of little treats. It's a place that has like basically your classic bakery things that you would think of getting in like an Australian bakery, but they're all vegan, which is pretty cool. Like it's a pretty exciting thing, I must say. So it's always very hard to decide because there's so many things that I want to get, but something that I always get is this cheese and Vegemite scroll. Now in Australia, cheese and Vegemite scrolls are very common. I don't know if there's any other places where people have these things, but it is iconic. It is like this thing that's just like yeah, this is a vegan cheese and Vegemite scroll, and they are, when I was a kid I would have like a dairy cheese and Vegemite scroll so often, and it was something that when I found a place that did a vegan version I was like, oh, this is so iconic. So I've got that, and then I also decided to get myself a little donut, which is like a buttercream and jam donut, which I'm also very excited about. I'm like, wow, what a treat for myself. I also, on the way here, obviously I need to address the fact that Harry's House just came out. I've been listening to Harry's House on repeat, loving it so much. My favorite song for sure is Little Freak, and I honestly feel like I just want to listen to that song on repeat, but I'm trying to like listen to all of the songs so I can get to know them all. But if you have any favorites on Harry's House, let me know, because this is like the first time where I'm like actually listening to a Harry album when it comes out, and it's like very exciting. Like I'm kind of like a late bloomer when it comes to being a Harry Styles fan. So it's a beautiful day, the sun's out, I'm driving around listening to Harry Styles. Now I've got a donut and a cheese and Vegemite scroll to have on my 7-year vegan anniversary. Life is good. It's definitely a lovely day. Okay, so whilst I have my lunch, starting with my cheese Vegemite scroll, have my donut for dessert, I'm gonna go through like a few questions that I had when I posted about having been vegan for 7 years, and just sort of talk a little bit about my experience as well. I guess the first question I'll start with answering is, did you find it hard to start with, or were you not much of a meat fan anyway? So for context, I've been vegetarian like pretty much my entire life. I was a really fussy eater, and I just did not want to eat meat pretty much ever when I was a kid. So I was already vegetarian when I transitioned to being vegan. I did find it difficult. I actually had like 2 years where I was like, you know, trying to go vegan and sort of like gradually cutting foods out. And I definitely struggled majorly with giving up cheese and sour cream. They were like 2 products that I just like ate so much of, and my dairy consumption was really high. I found eggs easy to give up though. So there was like some difficulty with transitioning my diet, but definitely haven't had the experience of like choosing to give up meat as an adult. So I couldn't even tell you what meat tastes like, honestly, or like how it feels in my body or anything like that, because I have literally probably had it a handful of times when I was a kid, and that is it. Okay, I really like this question, and it is, what is the best part of being vegan for you? So I couldn't speak more highly of veganism really, because going vegan changed my life in such a multitude of ways. It's actually incredible to look back on, like the butterfly effect of how that really changed a lot of things for me. I suppose for me, like I went vegan initially for the animals and the environment. It was very much so like, and still is like, I just personally can't eat animal products. Like I ethically, it doesn't feel ethically in alignment with me. And when I watched Cowspiracy in my early 20s and learned about the impact of animal agriculture on the environment, like that really like hit home for me as well. So for me, those are kind of like things that are, you know, really great parts of being vegan, because I feel like I'm making a positive change, and I really enjoy living in alignment with like just like how I ethically feel, I suppose. I don't really know how to put that into a sentence, but that obviously like feels really good for me. I would say like when we talk about what's the best part of being vegan, I think that it really, I suppose the best thing that came as a surprise to me is like how it really has created such a positive relationship with food for me. I was always a really fussy eater, and there were so many things that I didn't eat before I went vegan. Like I didn't really eat beans that much. The diversity of like vegetables and fruits that I was eating was not diverse at all. And I really feel like going vegan and having to learn how to cook, like I was such a terrible cook before I went vegan. It's really impacted my relationship with food in a positive way. Like I really love cooking. I love the flavor that you can get from food. I love how food makes me feel, and how I can really notice like, you know, how different foods make me feel different ways. And I really just feel like I feel like that's been like such a surprisingly positive thing for me, because I didn't go vegan like trying to create this relationship with food or trying to, you know, improve my health or anything like that. It just has kind of like happened with it, which has been a really, really positive thing for me, and something that I am very grateful for. Oh my God, look at all of that buttercream. What are the most important things that you have learned during these 7 years, and what would you say to someone who is just starting? So I'd say the biggest lesson that I've learned through being vegan is to really like pick your audience, I guess. Like when I first went vegan, I was like so angry and so frustrated with the world, and I feel like that in turn made me feel really angry at like my loved ones who weren't vegan or weren't open-minded to it, and really made me like a very resentful person. And I look back at some of my behavior in that time in my life, and I feel pretty disappointed in the way that I was. So I think it's great that I was passionate, but I feel like my passion was in the wrong place, in the sense that like some people just aren't going to respond positively to like harsh criticism, and it's going to make them even more resentful of vegans and the vegan movement and things like that. And I think something that I've really found, at least in my personal experience, is that most of the people in my life who have either gone vegan or chosen to eat more plants or a more plant-based diet because of me have done so from like leading by a positive example. And whilst I think some people respond really, really well to that harsh you know, like that frustration and that anger. Some people really, that is what changes things for them, you know, and I think that, you know, that's great that that works for some people. In my experience, the thing that has made people more open-minded to veganism has been seeing how it works really well for me and seeing how I have a positive relationship with food and, like, you know, cooking really yummy food for people and stuff like that. That has been what has created that change. And so I think something major that I've learned in my time being vegan is that, you know, some people are going to respond well to certain forms of activism and other people are going to respond to, you know, different forms of activism. And I just feel like I look back on, you know, the way that I sort of like treated some of my family members and stuff like that, and I think that I wasn't showing veganism in any form of positive light. Like, I definitely was leaving a bad taste in people's mouths about the vegan movement. And so that's something I really encourage people to do. Like, I think that when you become vegan, it is a really confronting thing when you learn about all like of the stuff that is happening to animals and to the environment and to people's health. It can really make you feel you know, really angry, and I totally understand that because I was there. But something that I really encourage you to do is acknowledge, like, is this anger serving me or serving these people that I'm directing it towards? Is it creating positive change? Because at least in my experience, when I reacted out of anger, it didn't create any form of positive change at all. So that's something that I have definitely learned. Something else that I think I've really learned across my time being vegan is the importance of like diversity in your diet, and as well as that, just not feeling like because you're vegan you have to be on some like strict whole food plant-based diet. I am a big advocate for food for the mind, body and soul, and you know, I obviously, for me personally, I try and eat a diet that makes me feel really good, but in eating a diet that makes me feel really good, I also eat foods that are processed and that are you know, soul food in a way. And I think when I first became vegan, I really thought that I had to like have this you know, really like whole food plant-based diet, like not eat any processed food to be like the ultimate vegan in a way. And that didn't create a healthy relationship with food for me. And also, like, that was the thing that was making me kind of like crave those like other foods, because I really was like, I feel like not giving myself what I needed in a way. I don't really know how to properly explain this, but basically I encourage you, if you go vegan, to not make that you're on like some really super strict diet, because there are, especially in Australia, which is a very like privileged place to be able to go vegan because there's so many products here, like there are alternatives to most things. So don't feel like going vegan you have to just like suddenly stop eating like burgers or brownies or these things that like make you feel good in the soul because you're vegan now, if that makes sense. So those are probably my two biggest pieces of advice. Hopefully I conveyed them properly in the way that I'm trying to. I just love a cheese and Vegemite scroll. What can I say? Alrighty, I really like this question. It is, do you have any dating tips? Would you date a non-vegan? How do you bring up the subject? I find that guys find it weird or strange sometimes. Okay, so I totally feel you on the worrying that people are going to find it weird or strange, because 7 years in, I still have had fears in that time going on dates with people who I know aren't vegan and who perhaps don't know yet that I'm vegan. In terms of my experiences and whether I would date a non-vegan or not, I have dated vegans and I have dated non-vegans. I've dated more non-vegans, and the most important thing to me with that like whole experience is that I expect the person that I am dating or in a relationship with to respect my dietary choices. And I personally have never had someone be like outwardly negative towards me that I was dating about my diet. If anything, they have been very open-minded and curious to trying plant-based food. So that's just my experience. I understand that that's not the way that it goes for everybody, and it sucks that people do, you know, like shame people for being vegan. And I think something important to remember when it comes to dating is like, if you go on a date with someone and they are shamey or judgmental towards you because you're vegan, like, do you want to date someone who is that way anyway? Like, it's obviously still like a really not a nice experience if someone does that to you or makes you feel that way, but it says way more about them than it does about you. So I really encourage anyone to like lead with confidence with sharing that you're vegan. I personally have now become very good at it, and it's something that I used to feel very like almost like shy about, and like almost like shame myself into not wanting to say it or feel like people are gonna like judge me before I even begin to share it. But now I just kind of lead with confidence, and I'm like, this is who I am, and at the end of the day, like, I don't want to date someone who doesn't want me for who I am. Like, that's pretty much is like it, I suppose. So yeah, I understand dating can be kind of difficult when it comes to stuff like that, but just try and remind yourself to be true to yourself and like what feels right for you. And I think that in like many ways, but I really do think that with leading with authenticity and being ourselves and staying true to ourselves, we attract people who also are that way and respect that we are that way as well. I feel like when I try to eat vegan, I end up overeating because I don't feel satiated after the meal. Your food always looks so delicious and satisfying, so I'm wondering what your tips are for staying satisfied on a vegan diet. Okay, so I'm just gonna talk about my own personal experience because I'm not educated on like the nutrition side of things. Something that I really found beneficial was learning to include one source of protein, carbs, and fat in every meal that I eat. And this like really helped me because it feels very simple to be like, okay, like I need to make sure I have a source of fat, a protein, and a carb in this meal. And I honestly have found that to be a game changer for me. Like, I'll notice if I have breakfast, like for example, if I have like just avocado on toast and I don't have like a protein source, it doesn't make me feel as full as if I were to add like some tempeh or some chickpeas to the meal. So that is like honestly my only major piece of advice, because I'm not super educated on it, but I have found that especially introducing a fat source and a protein source into a meal, because I used to eat like a super carb heavy diet, has really helped with feeling satiated. Anyway, that was a fun little chat. Hopefully you learned a little bit more about me and my vegan experience / opinions. Can't believe it has been 7 years already. So much has happened. I literally am like, my life has changed so much in the past 7 years. It's kind of unbelievable. I'm gonna keep eating my donut and my cheese and Vegemite scroll, and I'll catch up with you when it's time for us to make a delicious vegan dinner. Okay, it is literally getting so dark so early here in Australia now because it is nearing winter and it's literally not even 6 p.m. and it is almost pitch black outside. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is that I made myself one of my favorite dinners, which is tacos, which I love tacos so much, but you know how tacos just create so much mess? Like there's always so many components to making tacos, and so it's like, do I want to spend half an hour doing dishes and cleaning up tonight? I don't know. Anyway, tonight I decided, in celebration of my 7-year vegan anniversary, of course I had to make myself one of my favorite meals. And in the end, this was actually really easy. I just made myself a couple of tacos with cauliflower and corn, which are my 2 favorite things to have on tacos. I also made a coriander lime mayo, which I just mixed some coriander, lime and vegan mayo that I got from the store. I have my charred corn, crispy cauliflower, which I did in the oven, some avocado, coriander on top, and then I also have a wedge of lime as well. So it should be really fresh and delicious, which is, these are the type of tacos that I like, ones that are fresh and delicious. So let's give them a crack. Okay. That is a very good taco, if I do say so myself. Okay, and these tacos actually bring us to the end of today's What I Eat in a Day video, because these are the last things that I'm going to eat today. I hope you enjoyed this video and got a little something out of it, whether it be a new meal idea or learning a little bit more about my vegan journey, I suppose. As always, I really appreciate you being here. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much to everyone who has supported me throughout my vegan journey, because I've been sharing YouTube videos for quite a few years now and sharing my vegan journey online, and I love the fact that I can share vegan recipes and people can recreate them and enjoy plant-based food. So genuinely, thank you so much. I really genuinely appreciate it very, very much. Don't know how to put how I feel into words, but anyway, yes, have a beautiful day. Thanks for being here, and I will see you in my next video.